We don't spend a whole lot of time worrying about fringe political candidates here. We try to observe what's happening in the mainstream, the enormous amount of denial, deceit, delusion going on in the mainstream when it comes to the topic of black violence wildly out of proportion. So when this guy Andrew Yang showed up, I thought, well, I saw him out of the corner of the eye, this headline here, this headline there. It looks like some people, he's getting their attention, their support. He was on Joe Rogan the other day, and he came up with this idea, this brilliant plan. Everybody gets $1,000 a month. All of a sudden, people are printing up memes about him. They're telling stories about him, how much they like him. BuzzFeed's doing stories about how the big bad conservative hate machine is threatening him, so they have new security. Anyway, the whole thing. So, when I heard about his big $1,000 a month plan, my immediate reaction is always, well, why not $10,000 a month? Wouldn't that be 10 times better? Okay, so we'll let Dr. Yang figure that. I think he's a doctor. I'm not sure. He's some kind of mysterious entrepreneur. Anyway, so we'll let him figure that out. But in the meantime, check out this speech from Dr. Yang, 1 minute of it. Check out this. This is the highest concentration of denial, deceit, and delusion on the topic of black violence and denial we have seen for a long time.
And who is going to be the boogeyman of the next 10 to 20 years? Who's going to be the great rival to the United States in the eyes of American society? China, that's right. And so what do you think the attitude is going to be over time for the shrinking, insecure white majority that's losing their jobs for, let's say, Chinese Americans or Asian Americans? I personally said to a group at Harvard, I think we're one generation away from falling into the same camps as the Jews who were attacked in a synagogue in Pittsburgh, just a couple months ago. It's like we're probably one generation away from Americans shooting up a bunch of Asians saying, damn the Chinese because there's a giant Cold War or even more with China. That is the great danger that I fear that my children are going to grow up in.
Wow. Where'd that come from? That white people are going to start attacking Asian people because we're somehow jealous of their professional success. Where is this happening now? Where? Nowhere. But we'll tell you what is happening now, what we have documented here over 100 times in 100 different videos. Lots of podcasts, including one just a couple days ago. What is happening that Asians all over this country are targets of black violence. Capiche, Dr. Yang? Just the other day, why don't we just start knocking over a few dominoes and see how long they trip into the horizon? Oh yeah, they trip into the horizon and back and back and back and back. Just the other day, a guy from Pakistan, would you consider him an Asian? He moved into the ghetto of Southeast Washington, D.C. You know why he moved there? Because he wanted to disprove stereotypes about rampant criminality and violence among African Americans. That's what his brother said. He's not around to tell us anymore because he is dead. And what about San Francisco? Headline, San Francisco daily newspaper out there. The dirty secret of San Francisco, black on Asian violence. 80% of the robberies in San Francisco are black on Asian. They went to some Chinese immigrant organizations in San Francisco and they said, hey, what do you think of this study the police department did? So the local paper says 80% of the violence is all black on Asian. What do you think about that? Chinese people said, oh, it's no surprise to us. Why don't we stay in San Francisco? The 89-year-old woman who is now she was out taking a walk in the morning in a Chinese neighborhood of San Francisco. One of the fellas came by and beat her with her own cane, left her lying in a mud puddle on a playground.
She has fractures all over her body, definitely all around her face, and she's suffered tremendous force to her face.
Is she going to live? I don't know. Will her life ever be the same? Will she ever get her life back? Oh, no. No, no, no. We can just go from town to town. In Philadelphia, the Chinese immigrants there had a huge protest rally because they were victims of violence. So where does this fantasy of white people somehow storing up all this resentment against Asian people come from? Where is it manifest right now? Where? Oh, Colin, what about Pearl Harbor? What about Pearl Harbor and the concentration camps, World War II? Listen, I can't be responsible for what the Democrats did back in 1942, 43, 44. I cannot be responsible for that. That was a long time ago. There are no white on Asian attacks. When an Asian person is attacked in this country, and it happens frequently, they are targeted, coming home from a business, well, I gave away the game. People will follow them, break into their house, kill them. Yes, this happens a lot. That's a black thing. The papers always say it's a random thing. Well, we don't know. It's a random thing. But it's not random, because if it were random, there would be some kind of comparable number of Asian on black attacks. Any Asian people attacking black people in America? If an Asian person is attacked, beaten, robbed, and murdered in America, who did it? Who did it? Come on, doctor, you're a brainiac. You go to Harvard, you drop it in. I was in Harvard the other day. If you're in Cambridge, Massachusetts, where Harvard is located, and an Asian person is attacked, beaten, robbed, murdered, whether they're a student at Harvard or a local business owner or just a guy that works in the hospital, who was responsible? Who did it? Do you think an Asian person did it? Do you think a white person did it? Who do you think did it? Come on, you're a brainiac. Give me some numbers. Give me a percentage. No, you don't dare, because you know what the answers are. What about Yale? We've done a lot of stories about Yale right down the street. People who work on the Yale Medical Center, the Yale campus, visiting Asian professors, visiting Asian students. Ton of this in my books. They are targets of black violence all the time. Then you come up here with this fairy tale that somehow white people are going to start resorting to violence. Violent crime in this country is not a white thing. I'm sorry to disturb your little political fantasies, Dr. Yang. It's not a white thing. It's a black thing. That is to say that black people are 3 times, 5 times, 10 times, 1,000 times more likely to commit a crime against a white person than a white person against a black person. The black crime rates are 3, 5, 10, 1,000 times higher, depending on the crime. And somehow you know this, but somehow you feel like, oh, I went to Harvard, so I could tell you this. You are a fool of the worst kind. You're a pandering fool. Because the only thing you know about racial violence in this country is that you and the people who work for you and your little Don Quixote attention whore quest to get the Democratic nomination, the only thing you know is don't make the black kids angry.